The throne is not just shaking, it is burning to the ground. For decades, Jay-Z and Beyonce have been the untouchable deities of the music industry, the ultimate power couple, the architects of cool, the benevolent rulers of Hollywood. But tonight, the masquerade ends. Nicki Minaj, the undisputed queen of rap, just hit the detonator on a digital bomb that has sent shockwaves from the penthouses of Manhattan to the hidden villas of the French Riviera. She didn't just post a tweet, she dropped a vault. We are talking about encrypted files, leaked voice memos, and master service agreements that read more like hostage negotiations than music contracts. Nicki's message is clear. The king and queen aren't who you think they are. She's exposing a web of career sabotage, shadow banning, and a systematic pay-to-stay scheme that has allegedly crushed every rising star who dared to rival the Carters. You've seen the glitz, the Grammys, and the billion-dollar smiles, but you haven't seen the receipts until now. Stay right where you are, because what I'm about to show you is the blueprint for the total collapse of an empire. This isn't just a scandal, it's an execution. To understand why Nicki Minaj just went nuclear, we have to look back at the quiet, suffocating tension that has been brewing in the industry for over a decade. In Hollywood, there is an unwritten rule. You don't cross the Carters. Jay-Z, the master of the boardroom, and Beyonce, the untouchable icon, have cultivated an image of perfection. But behind that image lies a history of strategic dominance, whispered secrets, and a trail of broken careers that leads directly to their door. For years, the industry has operated under the shadow of the Carter Gate. Every time a new female artist began to gain traction, a mysterious ceiling would appear. Their songs would suddenly drop from major playlists, their high-profile features would be cancelled at the last minute, their world tours would face unexplained technical difficulties or venue losses. We saw it with the quiet fading of R&B starlets who were once hailed as the next Beyonce, and we saw the sudden roadblocks faced by rappers who refused to sign with Roc Nation or bow to the throne. Nicki Minaj was always the outlier. She was too big to ignore, too loud to silence, and too smart to be owned. But even the queen of rap wasn't immune to the Cold War tactics of the industry's most powerful couple. While they collaborated on tracks like Feeling Myself, the energy behind the scenes was reportedly icy and competitive. Sources close to the situation claim that Beyonce viewed Nicki's meteoric rise as a direct threat to her singular dominance over the Black excellence narrative. To Beyonce, there could only be one queen at the center of the universe, and Nicki's refusal to be a background player created a rift that would eventually swallow the entire industry. Jay-Z, meanwhile, reportedly saw Nicki's independent business moves, her refusal to sign over her branding and her outspoken nature, as a challenge to his role as the industry's ultimate gatekeeper. In Jay-Z's world, you are either with the family or you are an obstacle. Remember the 2018 era? When Nicki's Queen album faced mysterious glitches on streaming platforms. Nicki alluded to it then, mentioning industry bots and manipulated numbers. At the time, the world called her paranoid. They said she was bitter because she wasn't at the top of the charts. But Nicki wasn't crazy. She was collecting data. She was watching as her peers were forced into lopsided deals that stripped them of their masters, their publishing, and their very voices, all flowing back into the coffers of the elite few at the top. The drama isn't just about music. It's about the system. Jay-Z and Beyonce aren't just artists. They are the face of a corporate machine that dictates who becomes a star and who remains a memory. Nicki has spent years playing the game, smiling for the cameras at the Roc Nation brunch, while privately witnessing the disposal of talent that didn't fit the Carter agenda. She watched as young artists were mentored into obscurity, their careers traded like commodities in high-level meetings at private clubs where the public and the cameras aren't allowed. The tension reached a breaking point during a series of secret table meetings that allegedly took place in late 2025. According to insiders, a plan was set in motion to consolidate the entire hip-hop and R&B market under one corporate umbrella, a move that would have effectively ended Nicki's independence and forced her to pay a royalty of respect to the Carters for every move she made. They wanted her to bow. They wanted her to fall in line. They thought she was a baboon in a salt trap, greedy for the fame and unwilling to let go of the salt of her career. But Nicki Minaj isn't a baboon. She's a lioness who has been sharpening her claws in the dark, recording the conversations they thought were private, and saving the emails they thought were deleted. She has been sitting on what insiders call the Roc Nation dossier, a collection of communications that allegedly link the Carters to the very figures and vibe setters currently under federal investigation. This explosion was inevitable. When you push a queen into a corner and try to take her crown, she doesn't plead for mercy. She burns the whole castle down. The world thought Nicki was finished because she wasn't invited to the inner circle anymore. They thought the Carters were untouchable because of their billions and their philanthropic image. They were both wrong. The war has officially begun, and the background of this conflict shows that this isn't just a petty rap beef. This is a battle for the soul of the industry. The glitz and glamour were just a distraction, a polished veneer over a machinery of control that is about to be exposed to the light of day. Are you ready to see what's behind the curtain? Because once we start digging into the first twist, there is no turning back. Last night, at exactly 2:22 a.m., the internet changed forever. Nicki Minaj didn't just go live. She launched a coordinated digital assault that has left the industry's lawyers trembling. She began the session in a dimly lit room, her face a mask of cold, calculated fury. Without saying a word, she began holding up a tablet to the camera, scrolling through high-resolution screenshots of an email thread dated back to 2021. The subject line? Project Platinum, Market Stabilization. In these emails, which Nicki claims are from a high-ranking Roc Nation executive to a major streaming platform head, the language used is chilling. They don't talk about music. They talk about throttling the reach of certain artists to ensure maximum visibility for the Q4 priority release, which just happened to be a major Carter project. The implication was immediate. Your favorite artists aren't winning because they're the best. They're winning because the power couple is allegedly paying to have the competition slowed down behind the scenes. But that was just the appetizer. Nicki leaned into the microphone, her voice dropping to a whisper that felt like a blade. "I have stayed quiet while you played with my bread," she told the 100,000 live viewers watching in real time. "I stayed quiet while you tried to make me look like the villain. But you played with the wrong one. You want to talk about black excellence? Let's talk about how you exploit and gatekeep the very people you claim to empower." Then came the first massive twist, the reveal of this shadow contract. Nicki revealed what she calls a loyalty lien. According to her, this isn't a standard music deal. It's a secret document that certain major artists under the Roc Nation umbrella are allegedly forced to sign. It reportedly gives the Carters a percentage of an artist's earnings even after they leave the label, in exchange for what she called industry protection. Nicki described the scene vividly. The room. She spoke of a private, windowless lounge in a high-end Soho hotel where Jay-Z allegedly hosts what is known as the initiation. It's not a cult ritual, she clarified, but a psychological one. You are told exactly who you can work with, what you can say in interviews, and most importantly, who you must distance yourself from. If you don't sign, you are blacklisted, meaning your radio play dries up, your Grammy nominations vanish, and your brand deals are redirected to approved artists. To back this up, Nicki dropped a receipt that left the world breathless, a leaked DM thread between her and another massive female rapper, whose name was blurred but whose verified checkmark was clear. In the messages, the rapper pleads with Nicki, saying, "I can't support you publicly, queen. They told me they'd pull my stadium tour bookings if I even liked your post. They own the promoters. I'm trapped." The emotional weight was suffocating. Nicki looked visibly shaken as she described the betrayal of artists she once called friends, people who had been bought into silence. "They don't want peers," Nicki spat. "They want subjects. They want a kingdom where everyone is too scared to look the king in the eye." But just as the audience thought they had seen it all, Nicki dropped the bomb that nearly broke the platform servers. She claimed that these receipts include financial records linking a shell company owned by the Carters to a legal defense fund for a certain disgraced mogul currently facing a massive RICO case. The implication was clear. Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just bystanders to the industry's darkest scandals. They were allegedly the financial backbone keeping the secrets buried. Nicki showed a blurry but readable document authorizing a $5 million transfer to an offshore account linked to a logistics firm in the Caribbean, the same firm mentioned in the recent federal raids on elite properties. The chat went into a total meltdown. Was Nicki suggesting that the power couple was funding the silence of witnesses? The truth is messier than the music, Nicki whispered, looking directly into the lens. Then, the screen flickered, and the live suddenly cut to black. Within seconds, hashtag Nicki dropped the receipts was the #1 trending topic worldwide. Fans were screaming for more, while industry insiders were reportedly scrambling to delete their own histories. But here's the twist that no one saw coming. While Nicki was exposing the Carters, a leaked counter-report began circulating on the dark web within minutes. This report claimed that Nicki's receipts were AI-generated and part of a desperate smear campaign. But wait, if they were fake, why did Beyoncé's entire legal team just file an emergency injunction to have Nicki's social media accounts suspended? If there's nothing to hide, why are they trying to kill the messenger? The conflict has moved from the studio to the courtroom, and the first twist has revealed a web of control so deep, it might just pull the entire industry under. The morning after the live, the world woke up to a different reality. The receipts had been mirrored across thousands of servers, and the Carter dynasty was officially in damage control mode. But instead of the usual polished press release, the industry felt a chilling, heavy silence. That was until a whistleblower account, allegedly run by a former high-level executive at Roc Nation, began verifying Nicki's claims with even more terrifying detail. This account posted a thread titled "The Blueprint of Control," detailing how the power couple allegedly used their influence to not just promote their own music, but to curate the entire culture by deciding who gets access to the most powerful rooms in the world. But the real shocker, the reveal that sent the internet into a tailspin, was the non-disclosure dynasty. This report claims that Beyoncé doesn't just have her staff sign NDAs, she has her peers sign them. Any celebrity who attends her private gold party or boards their private jet is reportedly required to surrender their phones and sign a document that forbids them from discussing anything they see or hear, even if it involves illegal activities. The escalation reached a fever pitch when Nicki Minaj returned to X, formerly Twitter, with a single, devastating image, a photo of a leaked flight log. In the log, dated June 2022, Jay-Z's private jet is listed as traveling to a private island, not the Carters, but one currently under federal investigation for unauthorized gatherings. Beside the flight log, Nicki posted a screenshot of a text message. "We have the footage of the 4th floor. If you move against the deal, the hard drive goes to the feds." The implication was an absolute earthquake. Was Nicki suggesting that Jay-Z and Beyoncé weren't just powerful musicians, but that they were being extorted? Or worse, that they were the ones holding the footage over others? This wasn't just about music anymore. This was a reveal of a blackmail economy that keeps Hollywood's elite in a state of constant, forced loyalty. Within hours, major news outlets began reporting that several A-list artists were quietly scrubbed from the Roc Nation website. It looked less like a business transition and more like a mass exodus of people terrified of being caught in the blast zone. The public was left staring at their screens, asking the same question: is the most perfect couple in the world actually the center of a web so dark that even the feds are hesitant to move? Just as the world thought they reached the bottom of the rabbit hole, Nicki posted one final, cryptic message. Ask them about the surrogacy secret of 2011. The receipts don't lie, but the birth certificates do. The internet didn't just explode, it froze. A new cliffhanger had been born, and the narrative shifted from financial fraud to a personal deception so deep it could rewrite the history of their entire family. The aftermath of Nicki Minaj's digital warfare didn't just trend. It fractured the entertainment industry into two warring factions. On one side, the Minaj loyalists and the truth seekers flooded TikTok and X with breakdown videos, using red strings and digital boards to connect the receipts to past industry disappearances. The Barbs were in full military mode, tagging every major news outlet and demanding a federal probe into the Carter Gate. Every cryptic post from Nicki was treated like a sacred text, dissected for clues about who was really pulling the strings in Hollywood. But on the other side, the Bayhive and the Roc Nation Defense Force launched a counteroffensive that was just as aggressive. They labeled the receipts as the Great AI Deception of 2026, claiming Nicki was using sophisticated deepfake technology to settle a decade-old grudge. The hashtags #ProtectTheCarters and #NickiIsReached began trending, fueled by reports that Beyonce was deeply saddened by the betrayal of a woman she once supported. The industry reaction was even more telling. In the 48 hours following the receipts drop, a series of mysteriously timed events occurred that fans couldn't ignore. The mass unfollowing. Over 20 A-list celebrities, including former close friends of the Carters, abruptly unfollowed both Jay-Z and Beyonce. It wasn't a slow trickle, it was a synchronized exit, suggesting that behind the scenes, the receipts had been verified by those who know the truth. The emergency board meetings. Rumors swirled that major streaming giants held emergency midnight calls. The stock prices for several entertainment conglomerates dipped as investors feared a Rico-sized fallout that could devalue the Carter catalog overnight. The silent heavyweights. While usually vocal, celebrities like Drake, Rihanna, and Kanye West remained eerily silent. Insiders claim that anyone who speaks out right now is being threatened with their own dossier being leaked. The message was clear: stay neutral or be destroyed. The division was visible on every talk show. On The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy debated whether this was the end of the God era for the Carters. If even 10% of what Nicki dropped is real, one commentator noted, then everything we know about the music business is a lie. Meanwhile, late-night hosts who usually joke about celebrity drama were reportedly told by their networks to steer clear of the topic, fueling the narrative that the Carters' influence still reaches into the executive suites of major media. The most shocking reaction came from a group of anonymous industry whistleblowers who began posting their own horror stories under the hashtag #MyReceipts. Former interns, stylists, and backup dancers started describing a culture of fear at Roc Nation, where employees were allegedly followed by private investigators if they dared to quit. The public's trust is at an all-time low. One viral thread pointed out, "We spent years mocking Nicki for being crazy, but every time she speaks, a few months later, the feds show up." The division is no longer just about who has better music. It's about who is on the side of the system and who is on the side of the truth. As fans argue in the comments, the industry is holding its breath, waiting for the one thing that could end the debate, a public statement from the Carters themselves. But so far, the silence from the throne is deafening, and in Hollywood, silence usually sounds like guilt. Just when the world thought the receipts had reached their peak, Nicki Minaj returned for one final, haunting broadcast. But this time, she wasn't shouting. She was sitting in total silence, staring into the camera for 3 full minutes while a timer counted down on the screen. When the timer hit 0, she didn't speak. She simply pressed play on a video file that appeared to be a security feed from a high-end recording studio, dated November 2025. In the grainy footage, 2 figures who appear to be Jay-Z and a high-level federal intermediary are seen sitting at a table. The audio is crisp, as if recorded by a professional-grade wire. The intermediary says, "The deal is off. The files from the islands are being unsealed in March. We can't protect the brand anymore." The figure resembling Jay-Z responds with a voice so cold it chilled the thousands of viewers watching, "Then burn the hard drives. If I go down, I'm taking the whole industry with me. Start with Nicki. I want her erased by Monday." The screen went white. Nicki's face reappeared, tears streaming down her face, not of sadness, but of pure, unadulterated rage. "You wanted to erase me," she whispered, "but you forgot one thing. I'm not just an artist. I'm the witness." Then came the final, soul-shattering twist that changed the entire nature of the scandal. Nicki revealed that the receipts she had been dropping all night weren't actually hers. She claimed they were handed to her by a silent partner, someone who has been inside the Carters' inner circle for 20 years, someone who knows where every body is buried. And then, She dropped the name that caused the internet to literally stop moving, Solange. Nicki claimed that Beyonce's own sister had been the one leaking the documents, tired of the dark rituals and the suffocation of the family empire. Before anyone could even process that revelation, Nicki pulled out a physical folder. "This," she said, tapping the paper, "is the 2011 DNA report. The one the world wasn't supposed to see. The one that proves the perfect family started with a lie that involves a surrogacy deal gone wrong and a child that doesn't officially exist." Just as she was about to open the folder, the audio on the live began to glitch with a heavy, rhythmic static, the kind used by signal jammers. Nicki looked off camera, her eyes widening in genuine panic. "They're here," she mouthed. A loud, metallic crash echoed from behind her, and the screen cut to a "This account has been suspended for violating terms of service" message. Within minutes, every single one of Nicki's posts from the last 24 hours began vanishing in real time, as if a digital ghost was scrubbing her existence from the web. Is Nicki safe? Was that crash part of the execution Jay-Z allegedly ordered? And if Solange is truly the whistleblower, does this mean the most powerful family in music is being destroyed from the inside out? The hard drive is still out there, the DNA report is still sealed, and the March deadline is looming. The throne hasn't just fallen, it's been hollowed out. Stay tuned, because the next update might not come from a social media post, it might come from a courtroom. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and the walls of Hollywood are finally crumbling. The question is, do you believe Nicki Minaj has the ultimate receipts? Or is this the most calculated character assassination in music history? And if Solange is truly the whistleblower, is there any way back for the Carter Empire? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below right now. Are you Team Nicki or Team Carters? We are monitoring every single update, and you don't want to be left in the dark when that March deadline hits. If you want to see the deep dive into this surrogacy secret and the leaked DNA reports, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. The industry is trying to scrub this footage as we speak, so share this video before it vanishes. Stay alert, stay loud, and remember, the truth always finds a way out. See you in the next update.